let's try this place. I think it's the last one on the list. Let me see. Oh, hi.
Hello.
You guys are my last hope. I'm looking for something really specific. I don't know if you could help me. I'm looking for a nice, good quality replica flintlock. Something that was used like in the American Revolutionary War. Oh, yeah, and it's got to be French as well. You got something like that?
Say no more, Monsieur Le Chap.
Really?
Look what just came in.
Oh, wow. What would I do without you? Hey everyone, Chap here. Just to give a little context, this wonderful musket that I've just got my hands on was ordered a year ago, and Pedersoli, being Italian, I guess, it took him a year to actually deliver it. There were a couple of problems. It once got forgotten about, apparently. So it's been a year. It's been a year since, well, it's not been a year since I've been here, but it's been a year since that happened. Since we talked properly. And you guys seem to appreciate the little chat we had the first time I came here to Waffen Emmental when they had almost just opened. And since then, lots of things have happened, lots of water under the bridge.
Yes.
And Cuno has very nicely agreed to front some more questions. Some patrons have submitted some questions here, so we'll put them to you. Feel free to answer them or not. And I got some questions a bit of my own.
Okay, yeah, welcome back. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I mean it's always nice to come here in Emmental, especially in winter. Nice snow on the hills. It's pretty good.
Not right now, not too much. No.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they're promising it. Yeah. So maybe the first question is a pretty obvious one. It's been a year of being running the gun shop with your partners. Has anything changed in that year? Your relationship with the authorities, be that police, import, export, that kind of thing, is since you're now more established?
Yes, I mean, we've always had a good relationship with the authorities, so not too much change there. They've always been very helpful, and of course, since every canton has their own rules, so we learned more about how things are done in other cantons, so that helped us, and of course we have relationships with more businesses now, with more importers. Been adding more brands to the portfolio, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so there's no more who are you kind of thing?
No, not so much. And we finally got our unlimited full auto license, which is was very nice.
Very good.
That took almost 2 years.
Right, yeah. And for the import-export, do you still have to do it? Because I think last time we talked, you were still on a case-by-case.
No, we did get our unlimited license now, so we can just import as much as we want and just send a list to the authorities once a year.
Noted.
That's right. But of course, it's a license that you have to renew every year, so we still have to do that once a year.
Yeah, but is it? Do you have to prove that you're using it, or could you just apply it for it just in case?
Well, what they say is, after you've been importing for a year, you can just ask for a general license.
So, but afterwards, they don't say, well, no one asked you for anything, so we're not going to give you one.
I don't know. Maybe they'll refuse to renew it. Who knows?
Just
but we'll see.
Question,
we'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll import stuff. We'll put it to use, I'm sure.
All right. Let's see. We can tie those two questions together. Okay. So my question was, how well does the average customer know their own national gun laws?
It depends. It depends.
Okay.
We do spend a lot of time explaining the gun laws to customers. Just recently, we had a range officer from a local club here.
Okay, so someone who should know.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an older gentleman, and a lot of his buddies are retiring from the shooting sport now, so they want to give him their rifles.
Yeah.
And there were some Sturmgewehr 90, Sturmgewehr 57, and of course what he did was he just took them, and then
Yeah.
he walked in here and said, "Look, yesterday I spent all afternoon at the local police station and asked them to explain to me what I have to do, and
Yeah.
they were unable to tell me what to do.
That's unhelpful. Yeah.
Can you help?" I said, "Yes, we can."
Yeah.
So I started explaining, and he had some trouble following along, and so he pulls out this piece of paper and says, "Look, this is what my buddy did to transfer a Sturmgewehr 90 to me. Is that okay?"
Yeah.
So I look at it, and what it was a online registration of a permit. So not the permit, but just the
existence of the permit.
instead of sending the permit back after you use it, you can do it online. So what they did is they did an online registration for an exemption permit. I was not really inclined, but they didn't have one.
Yeah.
And where you have to enter the number, they just made a number up and typed this as many numbers until it accepted it. Unfortunately, they hadn't sent it yet, because obviously police would have
gone, yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for the confession.
And so it took about 2 hours to sort everything out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is still a problem.
Okay, yeah. But so you theoretically still get people coming in with nothing and just saying, "I want that."
Yeah. And then sometimes, we print the form for them, fill it out with them, and tell them where to send
Go to
it,
the
and
police,
then
yeah.
they come back with the permit later.
Yeah, a couple of weeks and it's done.
Yeah.
All right. That leads into a question from TJ, who says, "Is there something that you would change in the Swiss gun legislation? What and why?"
Well,
maybe from a dealer
right.
perspective.
I mean, I don't really want to go too much into detail because it is a lot of paperwork, and obviously it would be nice if it was less work for us. But I think one thing that probably will change sooner or later, there's some indication, is that you still need an exemption permit for suppressor.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of complaints about noise, and so I mean, it makes no sense that they would ban suppressors, and then in certain cantons you have to be a collector and you have to buy guns for 10 years until they approve a suppressor. So that's just silly.
Yeah, we can hope. I think anyone could benefit from that, even if they knock it down to a standard.
Yeah,
permit.
Exactly. I expect that might happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Then maybe as a shop here from Dave Bearer. Are powders and primers in short supply in Switzerland? Have prices changed since pre-COVID? Yeah, we'll just start with that. There's some other stuff.
I don't really know, to be honest, because powders and primers and then reloading equipment in general is not really much of our business. Sometimes we order powder for customers, but there are other dealers specializing in it, so we're happy to let them have the business.
The information I can provide, certain brands are hard to get, like Federal primers, which people seem to like a lot. I use them for some of my old stuff because they're generally more sensitive. Doesn't matter if the main springs are real worn. Those are in short supply at the moment. Price, I think they'll never go down to pre-COVID prices anyway, just because that's just marketing.
Yeah.
Powders, I don't really have any indication that they're in short supply. I mean, we have the local RS powders in Vimis that produce pretty much everything that you could possibly need in terms of speeds, burn rates. They've pretty much duplicated anything that we would need to import specifically. So and prices, don't think they actually changed. they've kind of expanded since COVID anyway. So I don't think there was a kind of baseline before then. Question goes on: what foreign rifles are popular in Switzerland, whether milsurp or not?
Well, probably probably the same ones as everywhere. I mean, World War II military surplus is always popular. You know, German, Russian, what's on. What's also popular, you know, Swedish Mausers, Finnish Mosins, just more or less the same as everywhere, I'd say.
And because the way Switzerland is, everything seems to wash up somehow in Switzerland. You don't know how.
Exactly, yeah.
Stuff just appears. You never know. You think, I'm never going to see this because, it's in Finland and there's no connection, whatever, and then something arrives. It's amazing.
And almost all, I think, so far, most of them, if not all, of Russian Mosin Nagants had the Finnish army stamp on it. So they, they all ended up in Finland and then came to Switzerland.
Came to the warehouse and shipped them out. And then the last question from Dave was: is there much demand for 300-meter target rifles like the Blaker, Grunig?
There obviously is a market for it. It's not so much our customer base because they're dealers specializing in this stuff, so they get the business. But they are still popular in Switzerland.
Yeah, we see them practicing at 300-meter range, doing the 3-position shooting, and but they usually have so much stuff, and I can guess that these specialized dealers, they have, because they always have special screws and special fittings for the stocks and the sling, and
exactly. And if you don't have the service organization, then it's really not a good business to be in, because then you have to send stuff back and forth all the time.
All right. What we got? All right, this is something that's probably universal, whether you're in a shop or you go to a gun fair or you're holding a stall or something, and you've got someone that comes and goes, I know what I got. And it's worth $800 and I'm not hearing anything. I'm not here to haggle, this is what it's worth.
Right.
This happens here too.
Of course it does. Of course it does. It's often older gentlemen with older Swiss rifles, carbine and infantry rifle, and they just remember prices from 50 years ago, and they think they should still be worth a lot of money. That's one argument.
Whereas now you almost have to give them away.
Exactly. So, and just today the gentleman came in with a Italian replica of a Remington black powder revolver. And those are really inexpensive and very hard to sell. I mean, they sell for, if you can sell one for 200 francs, then that's you're lucky. And we have a box full of them, and rarely ever can we sell one. So he comes in and he insisted it was worth at least 800 francs, and it was and it had some damage to the bluing, and I tried to fix with a permanent marker.
And I guess you have to have a bit of customer finesse to not disappoint them too much, but
exactly. I mean, obviously,
so be firm.
You don't really wanna piss them off right away, but you do have to explain to them that times have changed, and it's especially painful for sport shooters with Swiss Lugers, because 40 years ago they were over 2,000 francs, and so they bought them and they want to sell them, and we tell them, well, now
it's half the price, pretty much.
Or even depending on the model, can even less, and that's sometimes a bit of a painful lesson for them to learn.
And especially now, since the 7.65 is no longer sponsored.
Exactly.
For the federal shoots, you don't even get free ammo anymore. So the values the values hit hard. All right. So here we've got something juicy here from Christian Hannes. Obviously, being a Swiss gun shop, you come across some interesting items. What are some of the items you come across that are most noteworthy and you wanted to keep for yourself?
Yes, we do. That
is the eternal problem, I think, of being a gun shop owner.
Yes, that is a big issue because too much stuff comes in that I would love to keep, and some items I do, but most of it because we still have to make money.
Yeah.
And so one thing that came in right over here, this is a SIG P210-5 sports version. It's the heavy frame version with the stronger frame, and it was worked over by Leon Cotte. He is quite well known in collector circles for the 210-8 that he did for SIG. He did a run of 200 pistols that he built for SIG, and they have the side eject button for the magazine, and they're basically a 210 that was customized for dynamic shooting, and it's really extremely well done, and he even has a 1911 style closed back strap, and
beaver tail.
Exactly, and we were able to buy it at a very high price, and I didn't really have time to look it over too much. It sold almost instantly within 3 days or so, and when I finally had time to look at it, I definitely regretted that I didn't keep it for myself. Yeah, and it even comes with an additional slide with the long barrel version, and it's serial number matching to the gun, and it comes with a 7.65 barrel and additional magazines and everything. So it's
that is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, very rare. There's another special one. At first glance, it's just a regular Walter PPK post-war made in Ulm. And at first, when the gentleman came in with it, that's what we thought. And then we realized it had the Swiss Army proof on it, which means it's a Pistole Model 65 that was bought for Air Force pilots and ground crews in the mid-60s. And this one has a steel frame, so it was a ground crew pistol. The ones pilots were issued with, they had the lighter aluminum frame.
Okay. I knew they existed, but I didn't know there was a difference in the frame.
Yeah, there is. And the gentleman who brought it in is Swiss military brass. He's a higher up officer, and he gave it to us we have written confirmation by the previous owner that this pistol was procured for the top secret military intelligence organization Project 26.
Yeah, P26.
Yeah, it's because all the information is still top secret, we can't really confirm, but we
cannot confirm or deny that rumor.
Exactly. Well, we have written confirmation by the owner that that's where it came from, and it might very well be because most of them were bought in '65, and this one was one of the later serial number one that was a batch that was bought in '72. So, and maybe one day we can confirm it, and until then it will stay in our store collection.
Okay, nice. Okay, we got a next question from Matthew Jackson. I've heard horror stories about delays getting support from US companies. What parts are hard to get, or is the problem just that the market is too small?
Well, most of the large US manufacturers, they have importers in Switzerland that deal with the service and parts. and so we usually do get the parts, but it can take a while. I mean, it's sometimes, it can take 2 months until a spring arrives. That does happen, but yeah.
Okay. And I guess what happens if the entire firearm is defective? What is the thing we looked at a couple of months ago? You sent pictures. Was it a Ruger? It was a revolver. Can't remember what it was. That had some horrible finishing issues and timing issues.
Oh yes, that was a Ruger.
So that went back, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that basically it came in and the finish was really uneven. It was really bad. It was a Red Hawk, 44 Magnum, a Ruger Red Hawk, and we just sent it back to the importer and
they sorted it out.
They sent us a new one that was a little bit better. Not perfect, but yeah, that's fortunately we don't have to deal with that.
All right, and so leading on from that, you send orders to the representatives here in Switzerland, and on that basis, have you had any really weird or very, very specific requests from clients to order?
You mean like
something really exotic they're
like
specifically looking for,
like flintlock rifles?
There's
this one customer, yes.
Or matchlocks from Italy.
Exactly.
It's something you really have to look. You think, I don't even know where I'm going to find this.
It does happen. It's usually, if we find it, then more often than not, the customer is not really willing to pay what it would cost to get it to Switzerland. Okay. So that is a bit of an issue. Yeah,
I guess you have to say that in advance. So the usual thing, yes, I can do it, but it's going to cost
exactly.
The mechanics. Speech. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And maybe conversely, like people bring you stuff that they want to sell, or they inherit and they don't want, or whatever. I'm sure you get a lot of stuff which is essentially junk,
yes.
Or at least junk from a commercial perspective. But is there some stuff that you've gone, really, wow, this is something really amazing?
Yes, that happened. First, an example for junk.
Oh, my poor
Vetterli Stutzer that was converted to signal shot and just
welded a floor plate on the magazine.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly, and for some reason it's still rimfire, so I'm not sure what the intention was.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you could sell the set trigger. It'd be worth more than the thing itself.
But for something that we were really surprised to find, this is a Waffenfabrik Präzisionskarabiner. It's basically a competition version of the Car 31 that was built in 1965 for international military competitions, and it has a free-floated heavy barrel.
Yeah, note, Giga.
Exactly.
This is free-floated. It's a Car 31, but it's got a super heavy barrel.
Exactly. And nice little detail, even the rear sight is serial numbered to the rifle.
Yeah, that's kind of a hint, because looking at it, you think it's a sporterized K31, Car 31. And it's even got little inlets on the stock, so you think, okay, someone's been doing this in the shed, but then you notice that the sights are numbered to the bolt. That's something you don't see.
Yeah. And also the serial number range is completely outside of any Car 31. To be...
it's screwed on to the
yes, it's
to the receiver as
the
well.
Type S.
Type S, yeah.
To be perfectly frank, that's what we thought at first. That was just a Baba rifle.
Yeah.
And then we realized, wait a minute. So that was the first one we came across. And this is the second one. This is a model 70M made in 1970, and there were only about 70 total made of these, so they're quite rare, and you don't see them every day.
Yeah, this one's got a custom stock this time rather than an adapted stock.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do you know what those little clips? They're
Yes,
top guard
there's
that clips on.
there's a top part that is missing from this rifle.
Okay.
That's supposed to it's supposed to help with the heat.
The heat, the heat shimmer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be something that someone that it comes into you. You think two car 31 bubbas, $200, and then someone who knows what they're looking for goes. But no, you spotted it first. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to shoot. Have you taken them out to shoot?
The 65 I have.
Yeah.
And that was really nice to shoot.
Yeah. Cool. And do we have anything really, really exotic? It's not milsurp, standard milsurp, or Swiss. Do we have anything? What we managed to dig up in 5 minutes.
Yes, what we have here is a Persian Mauser.
You see on the top there.
Made for the Persian Empire in the mid-1930s.
Yeah.
It even comes complete with the stock.
Yeah, it's absolutely complete. You've got the cleaning rod there as well.
Yeah.
There's the loading tool under the flap. You've got the magazine pouch. That is a gorgeous set. Yeah.
And I have an Iranian colleague, and I took pictures, showed it to her, and she translated all the writing and confirmed it was indeed Persian.
Yeah. Does it say anything interesting, or was it just the date and model?
Yeah, it was the model. It says Mauser factory and the model, and of course she helped me read the serial number.
Oh yeah. Mind your eyes, people.
Put your sunglasses
Look
on.
at that.
Yeah, this is one of the luxury versions of the P210. This one was done in collaboration with Müller Morgenthau. They also did a lot of engraved pistols for SIG, and I assume this was probably made, ordered for someone who ordered it, probably from
you know who you are, who orders it.
Yeah. Not a Swiss customer.
Not a Swiss customer. Yeah. And is it, trying to see that little, not crests quite, I'm trying to see what they are, these little, they're not flowers? I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I think they might be. And the interesting thing is there's another one that's not quite as bad. Not as much gold plating on it, but they on that one they also gold plated the barrel.
Okay.
And the whole hammer assembly.
So it's clearly never going to be used.
Well,
okay.
If in case the customer wants to shoot it, it also came with numbers matching non-gold plated barrel and hammer assembly.
But you're probably going to scratch the whole thing trying to put the new change over the barrel.
Yeah, obviously you're still never going to use it, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you very much for showing these two. I think the top is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. I wouldn't buy it, but it's nice. Got to admire the craftsmanship at least.
Yeah, it's personally, I don't really buy guns. I won't shoot because they just sit there and don't do anything.
No saved queens here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, we've got two more questions from patrons, and then we'll let this poor man close shop and go home. We got Dave JD, which asks, which firearms and cartridges are current bestsellers, both in Europe in general and Switzerland in particular?
Well, pretty much the same as everywhere, I would say. I mean, Glocks sell well, unfortunately.
It's a love-hate relationship
exactly.
with Glock in this shop.
Exactly.
It's a necessary evil.
That's true. I don't really know what the differences would be between Europe and Switzerland. I mean,
yeah, Europe is not a country. Just to say,
exactly.
And the problem is, the firearms laws also heavily influence the calibers and the firearms that are available. It's not a case of, it's not so much a case of what people want as what they are allowed. So it's hard to get a picture of fashions or trends.
Yeah, and we're quite lucky in Switzerland that we can pretty much own almost anything we want with the right permit, and depending on where you live, it's not too hard to get the permits.
Yeah.
So and of course it's always dependent on the type of shooting the customers do. I mean, collectors, they have their particular field they collect in, and sport shooters, one gun that we love to get in and sell really quickly is Sturmgewehr 90. Okay. Doesn't really matter if it's a military version or the P90, the private version. They usually sell very quickly because people are always looking for good ones with good barrels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there's a decline in the 7.5 rifles.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have Sturmgewehr 57. We have so many.
There's a lot behind this screen.
And they're really difficult to sell. I mean, you can only sell them if they have a perfect barrel, mm-hmm. and then you upgrade them to 03 specifications, yeah. with competition sights and everything, and mm-hmm. then you can still sell them quite well. But just your regular run-of-the-mill military 57, that has been through an infantry career, those that just sit here.
Yeah.
But we still buy them because they're great rifles, and yeah. it was my military rifle, so
I don't have one. I need one again. I know who to come to.
Yeah, you can go pick
sort
one.
Me out. Yeah.
Excellent. Make a good deal.
So is it also the case in that case that also the older generation, which are still shooting, they're now switching to the Sturmgewehr 90, or
yes, you
see it's lighter to shoot and easier, I would say.
Yes. I mean, you have the really old ones, that are 80 pushing 90, and they still shoot their Car 31, and those are basically the only customers that still want Car 31s, and they're willing to pay a really good price for a really good one, mm-hmm. with a great barrel. So they usually stick to their carbines until they retire from the sport.
Yeah.
And then you have 57. They kind of fell out of favor until they allowed them to be upgraded with the competition sights, and then they became popular again. Mm-hmm. So those, you also see young people shooting those. But now it's changing again because the Sturmgewehr 90 can now also be updated with.
Yeah, there's at least 2 approved sight systems now that for the competition. For those who don't know, for the Swiss federal programs, there is a list of accessories that you can add to all the service rifles, and they have to go through approval, and it's upgraded every year. And so for the Sturmgewehr 90, there are now 2 diopter systems that you can bolt on. And they're always temporary, so you don't, because the idea is they can be attached to your service rifle without having to modify it and take it off quickly.
And of course, now 6 Hour is coming out with the 711, which is basically a Sturmgewehr 90 chambered in GP11. And hasn't been approved yet, so we'll see how that goes. And also comes with the competition sight system. So if you want the longer barrel and the heavier bullet, that's is less.
You could have a dedicated rifle.
Yeah, exactly. So to be honest, I'm not exactly sure why 6 Hour is coming out with it now, because they've been showing it at shows for almost 10 years and they never really released it. And now that it looks like GP11 is probably not going to be produced much longer, now they're coming out with a GP11 competition rifle. That's kind of like a military rifle, but it's not really.
It's not really.
So I'm not sure what, and it's really expensive too. So.
Well, no. Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see when you get an order, if you get an order.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get one in sooner or later just to try it out.
Yeah, and now we talked about the old generation. Following on Dave's question, had a follow-up question about what the new generation likes to collect, to buy. The old World War I to Milsurp, popular with them?
Well, I'd say there's two kinds of young customers. There's the new generation of collectors, and they pretty much like the same Milsurp that the older generation liked, because anything that's collectible that was used in World War One or World War Two or
Battlefield One,
Battlefield One. Obviously, I mean, if you
video game generation,
stuff,
seen stuff and want to own it. Yeah.
Exactly, that is, we do get those kids in. They say, "Oh, I saw it in a game."
So I want this.
And then of course there's the tactical crowd, and they want their Glocks and ARs and.
Do you get a lot of? I mean, Glocks was already established now. ARs, is that something you don't see very many? There
are a couple. I mean, we do have customers, dynamic shooters that buy ARs from us, but it's not something we really concentrate on. I mean, I let my two business partner handle the Glocks and ARs, so I don't have to touch it.
I wash my hands. They remain clean. All right, and got a last question to wrap up here from Oragear. Do you experience gun tourism? People visiting from other countries who visit the shop just for the sake of seeing a gun shop?
We do. It has happened before. It's not so much people who just walk in from the streets, because we're not really in an area where tourists pass by, so that doesn't really happen. But what happens is that someone contacts me on Facebook and says, usually people who already are into guns and are in those gun groups, and they hear about me and they contact me and said, "Oh, can I come by and see your shop?" And
so it's not tourism; it's a pilgrimage.
Well, basically, and we're always very happy to make time for them and show them, and especially it's always nice to show American stuff they cannot get in the US.
Oh yes, Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's people should come and visit Emmental. Come for the cheese, come for the guns.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always
welcome.
Come by.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you once again, Cuno, for taking the time out.
Thank you
to answer all these questions. Thank you also for dealing with my order.
No problem.
Looking forward to try it out in the new year.
It didn't take too much work except for all the waiting.
Yeah. Is it here yet? No. Yeah. But we got there in the end. So
exactly.
Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for whatever support you're providing, whatever platform you're following us on. And see you next time in a gun shop, in the workshop, or out on the range. Bye.
Bye bye.